Right now, there are a number of CS2 investments that I think have great potential. So in this video, I'm sharing my top picks with a $400 monthly budget and the reasoning behind each one. A few weeks ago, I highlighted some of the biggest pricing discrepancies between souvenir and normal grade industrial skins. This month, I decided to take a look at the mil specs instead. Here you can see all of the blue skins from the 5 collections that I believe have the most potential after the recent trade-up change. You'll find their float caps, factory new supply for both normal and souvenir versions, their respective prices on SkinSwap as of June 21st, and the percentage and dollar difference between the two. If we sort the table by percentage difference, where the larger negative values essentially indicate how much of a discount the souvenir grade is relative to its normal counterpart, we get these results. Because of the weird float range of the famous, I'll ignore it for now. That means the MP9 music box from the Mirage 2021 collection currently has the greatest price difference. As I've said before, I expect that these souvenir grade skins should increase in price while their normal grade counterparts decrease, ultimately meeting at an equilibrium. After all, both now offer the same trade-up utility to those higher tier skins. Therefore, the first item I'll be picking up this month is the music box at a price of $3.29, as I believe there's ample room for growth. This video's sponsor, SkinSwap, is giving you a skin worth up to $50 entirely for free whenever you do your first trade and use my referral code. If you want to refresh your loadout, you can trade your skins for brand new ones in just a couple of seconds. Plus, their market tab now integrates cheap listings from Chinese sites so you can access the best prices without the need for a Chinese ID or bank account. They accept deposits via crypto, MasterCard, and Visa. If you want to cash out, SkinSwap makes that simple too with instant sell options to PayPal or crypto. On top of that, they run free daily, weekly, and monthly giveaways with the chance to earn extra entries simply by trading. Use the link below for a 3% lifetime sales bonus and a free skin worth up to $50. Big thanks to SkinSwap for supporting the channel. And actually, the MP9 was sitting at over $100 just a month before it crashed, so there's definitely precedent for much higher prices. As I was looking through this table, some other skins also caught my attention. Ideally, I want a skin that is relatively cheap, has a large price discrepancy, and also has a low souvenir supply so prices could move quickly. I'm not particularly interested in overpaying for play skins here, rather my focus is on skins that could see growth over time thanks to their trade-up utility. So with the exception of the MP9, the next cheapest skin is the P90 Schematic. I like this skin because it shares the largest float range of the Vertigo 2021 collection alongside the Nova Interlock, and the souvenir supply is only about 33% relative to the normal supply, meaning there's simply not a lot of them in existence. Also, at a $6 entry point, I think it's a solid pickup. I'll be buying 10 of these at the $6.09 mark. As I mentioned last time though, if you want to look into skins of other rarities or collections that I've skipped, you can use FloatDB to find the numbers and do these calculations for yourself. The next investment I want to discuss are the limited edition skins. So far, we've had the XM and M4A1S Solitude, Desert Eagle Heat Treated, and AK Aphrodite. At this stage, these skins cannot be used in trade-ups. However, if Valve decides one day to add a limited edition knife or pair of gloves, they might also decide to allow these skins to be used in contracts. After all, they're clearly enjoying changing the trade-up mechanics lately, so I don't see why these would be any exception. Of course, this is a totally speculative play, but given the AK Aphrodite is set to be removed in just a couple days, supply should have pretty much capped out by now. Therefore, I'll be happy to pick up a couple of field-tested Aphrodites and hold on to them in case Valve ever changes this. I'll also buy in at the classified rarity with some factory new Solitudes. It's cheaper than the Deagle, and honestly, I could also see this being targeted by the Chinese at some point, given supply is limited, so it could expose you to that opportunity as well. This is not going to be a big portion of my portfolio, but I thought, why not? I'm giving away a pair of Sport Gloves Omega in Field Tested this month. For your chance to win, simply like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I'll pick the winner on June 30th. Good luck. Let's move on to cases next, and honestly, it's really difficult to pick which one to go for right now. So I've personally decided to pick up a mix of Dreams and Nightmares and Revolution. In my view, these are the two most likely candidates to be rotated out of the active duty pool next. I'm sure some of you are already on top of things, so I'll just briefly recap the main arguments for each. The Dreams and Nightmares case is the older of the two, launched all the way back in January 2022 versus Revolution's February 2023 release. In recent months, Dreams and Nightmares is seeing fewer overall unboxings. However, that wasn't always the case over the last few years. The Dreams and Nightmares case sells at a higher price, meaning Valve gets a larger cut on Steam sales fees, plus because the skin creators were paid out at a flat rate instead of receiving 25% revenue share like in the Revolution case, Valve also keeps all of the key sale revenue. However, because the most recent terminal included gloves, I would imagine the next will include knives. Therefore, it seems more logical to replace a knife case with a knife terminal, especially if it were to include the Gamma Doppler finishes again on perhaps the 3rd gen Skeleton and Nomad, for instance. The Revolution case has a cheaper entry point, but the golds, such as the Butterfly Emerald of the Dreams and Nightmares case, are much more popular. Plus, the only other case to share the Butterfly Gamma Doppler is the Riptide, selling for over $10, whereas the gloves in the Revolution are also available in the clutch case at just 62 cents. I'll let you evaluate all of that information and make your own decision, but I'll personally be splitting my capital, adding $75 of each to the portfolio this month. While we're discussing the active drop pool, I also wanted to touch on the Genesis terminal, as I've seen a lot of people mention they're buying in recently. I understand some aspects of the appeal. At around 10 cents, it looks cheap, and it does have a couple of decent skins. However, we need to consider that it's still fairly new to the active duty pool, added just 9 months ago, and I imagine all 3 active cases will be removed before it. Therefore, it could still be years at this point before it gets rotated out, during which it could drop even further, potentially to the 3-cent price floor. And of course, there's the opportunity cost of having your money stuck in something which I don't think will see much movement at all for at least a couple of years. Also, it's the only case/terminal in existence to not contain any gold, so I highly doubt it will see strong demand in the future, even if removed. I'd definitely be staying away from it for now. Of course, keep in mind that this video is not professional financial advice. CS2 skins are virtual items and can be highly volatile. Past performance is not indicative of future results, so please do your own further research and consider your financial position before making any decisions. I thought today might also be a good opportunity for us to go back and check on the Elemental Craft stickers, given that I've got quite a few of them. The last time I updated this table was at the end of April, so here are the latest numbers as of the 21st of June. For those who haven't seen this table before, it's got the full breakdown of application rates for each sticker from the collection, the total applications, current Steam price in USD, and average applications per skin. Notably, the High Heat still has the highest number of 5x applications, and indeed the highest total overall, but the Whiting Scorch Foil has the highest average applications per skin. Then in this table, I've got historical data on the number of applications back in November last year, January, March, April, and now June. We've got the average applications per month since the last dataset was taken, and the percentage difference in that time. I've also got a price ranking column which ranks each sticker from that rarity in descending price order, and the application ranking column. The final column then highlights any discrepancies between the two. So what stands out here? Well, firstly, the only sticker that has actually moved in application ranking is the Hydro Wave. Can't help but think this craft might have had an impact. It's seen quite a large price jump, so much so that it's sitting at a higher price than both the Scorch Loop and Bolt Strike, which have more overall applications but are significantly cheaper. The Bolt Strike foil could also still hold some merit, as it's selling for over $1 cheaper than both the Bolt Charge and Whiting Scorch foils, despite having higher applications. Now look, I'm not adding significantly more capital into these, but to be completely honest with you, these stickers are holding up pretty well. And looking at the jump in applications over the last 2 months, they are still extremely popular. I mean, 6 of the stickers had over 100,000 applied last month alone. Back in April, I was buying High Heat stickers for 74 cents. Right now on CS Float, they're sitting around 70, so a roughly 5% drop. The same cannot be said for pretty much any of the other Armory collections, even those which should be rotated out soon. Skins in the Train 2025 collection are down about 25%, and Spawn Field skins are down about 30%. So all things considered, I think I'll add a couple of Bolt Strike foils, some Boom Trail papers, and a few more High Heats to bring my cost base down. Some people think these are overinvested, but so far, I like what I see from the numbers, and I'll be very happy to hold on to these for a while yet. Let me know your thoughts on this month's picks in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe for more CS2 skins content. Thanks so much for watching, and take care.